Good evening, everyone. This is Sunday, September the 7th. My name is Janet. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate if you hit that subscription button, like and share some of my content. I want to do this video today. Is babies mamas. I've got some personal things, not that is personal. It don't affect me, but it affects some people that I know around me. I want to talk to some of these babies mamas. If you or anybody else that you know, and I'm pretty sure some of you, if you see this video, then you be probably know somebody or might be personal, have this situation with babies mamas, with babies that or women that are you're not married to, but you share a common interest with the baby, with a child or someone of that such. Babies mamas, I would never ever try to do some of the things. Some I have seen some of the I have friends that uh have uh in-laws, daughters-in-laws, and girlfriends of their sons that are some of the worst people I ever seen in my entire life. You cannot, babies mamas, you cannot use that child to control a man. A man cannot be controlled by a child. I have never heard of such a thing, and such a thing being where it actually works. I know some people, personally know some people that actually use their children to control the man and the men in their life that they are not married to, or they might be just guys living with or living kind of relationship. I got a friend of mine, Ashley. This is her daughter-in-law that actually controls this man. And if she's upset with the mother-in-law, that she controls when mama-in-law gets to see her grandkids. Me, because of the situation I'm in, my grandkids stays not in this country, so this is a different story for me. It doesn't apply to me, and I'm not trying to sit here and try to make myself a part of this particular uh, situation. But I do know some people that is in a situation where you got a daughter-in-law or a woman that is so mean that she uses her child to control everybody that is in that child's life around that child. She controls their behavior by if they will be able to spend some time with this particular child. I've heard of women a lot when they sitting around and they talking about deadbeat dads, and they talking about how awful these men are. But I just want to say, as a a mother and a grandmother, that some of y'all need to shut your mouth when you're talking, because some of you all are talking of both sides of your face. Some of y'all use manipulation to control these guys and doing things that you know is not right, but you go back and you tell your friends that he's the most awful person, but it just so happened he just happened to be the father of your child. If he was that such an awful person, then why is he the father of your child? So at some point in time, he had to been pretty much on your good side, one of the best side that you ever probably thought you had in order for him to become a father of your child. I've heard women, especially young women, that drag these fathers, dads name through the mud and saying how awful they are. You know, they don't pay child support. They don't want to spend time with the kids. Uh, they just what they call door hopping from one woman to another. And I sit there and I listen and I'm thinking to myself, okay, that is your side of the story. Because I'm not saying that there's not men that's out there that is like that. I'm just saying that not all men is that way. Some of it, some of the problem is not always a man problem. Sometimes it's the mother problem, because I got a friend that's got a daughter-in-law, and this young lady base how she feels that day about her mother-in-law is depends on if mother-in-law gets to see this child. And if she's upset with mother-in-law, and then mother-in-law grandmother does not get to see his child, and before anybody start thinking I'm not talking about myself. This is not have nothing to do with me, but somebody that I call a very good friend. And I hate to see people, because I know by myself, speak for my own personal self, that I know that wanting to see your grandkids sometime when but you can't for whatever reason might be, it's kind of hurtful at times. Mine doesn't stay over here in the United States, so I don't get to see them as much as I would like to. But I can talk to them anytime I want to. Sometimes I get a little tied up and busy with my job and so forth that I don't uh get around to that, but that's on me. That's on me. That being said, I just, before these young women, and I'm sure it's more out there, but I'm speaking of personal young women. Before you all started talking and sitting around in that little huddle that you talk in, and you start talking about these dead beat dads and they're no good, check yourself. Because I know from experience, and for some y'all that I've heard y'all talk, some of y'all use these babies. Some of you use these babies to get what you want. It has nothing to do with what the child needs. It's what you want. It's what you. It's all about you, you, and you. It has nothing to do about with that child and what that child needs. And some things the child needs all about what mama wants. And mama will use the child to justify the treatment that she gives to the, the daddy of that baby. I would never call any man father, because my father, our father is in heaven. The father is for me is the creator. I call him daddy because that's what they are, in my opinion. And anybody can just go and just do whatever they want to do with that, but I just call them just what that, because that's how I believe. Anyway, this particular lady is so mean to this lady's grandma that it literally hurts grandma to the point where she feel like she needs to be walking on eggshell with this woman, because she wants so bad to be able to see her grandson and her grandchildren. Now like she's got an autistic grandson, and she's got another one now, and she has to walk on eggshell with mama in order to be able to have visitation rights to see her grandchildren. And it's all because mama got to have everything her way. And if it's not her way, it's not going to be anybody's way. So this is why I say, and it's not just, I haven't just seen it just in her. I've seen it like many times when I have some people I have worked with, when we are sitting around talking, and people, young ladies that got children by other young men, and the things that they are saying about these men. And I'm sitting there because I do not like to get in anybody's business. I sit there and I say, okay, so we heard your story. What is his? Do we get to hear his story? Because there's always two sides to a story. And this being 2025, it's not always a clear black and white situation when it comes to prenatal rights and things like that. When you got the parents are not together, but they're sharing custody and time of the child, would it be, it doesn't matter, boy or girl, it doesn't matter. And when you got young ladies out there that is angry because the relationship did not work out with this man, so they are with the child, they are left with the child, so they now, holding all that resentment towards the father, because he done probably moved on to another girl or got a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, what have you. And he just had decided that, she's not the one that he wants to spend his life with. So the lady, young girl, wound up having, resentment. And sometimes the resentment was the only person that really suffer the most from it, and is the child themselves because of it. The child is stuck in the middle of something that they did not create it. And you got these young girls, young women, is sitting somewhere upset because things didn't work out the way they planned or where they hoped it to be. So now they're sitting somewhere, and the child is taking most of the punishment from that, more the child is getting punished more than the father, the daddy himself. If you're going to make a conscious decision to be in relationship with someone where it's a situationship or just a really a relationship, before you bring children into it, and you should think twice about, is this the right time to be uh, having children? If you're not sure that that your partner is going to be a lifetime thing, then why bring children into it? And I know in life is a risk, and I know sometimes some things happen, and sometimes it don't have to be like they didn't wants to be together. Other circumstances, something come up where it just didn't work out, or it's not going to work out, and I understand and that things happen like that, but this is not the conversation I'm having. The conversation I'm having when it's just two people decided to get together and just have fun, or just use each other for whatever reason, and then a child is comes from that, and the relationship ends at some point, and then you got the mother there that is bitter, and it seems like to me a lot of time the guy catches out of the resentment, out of the backlash is put upon him, because then he become a deadbeat dad, and she is the innocent one, which is not always the case, because she's not always innocent. Sometimes some of the backlash, sometimes some of the reason why the relationship ended is not because of him, it because of something that she did that caused it to end. Because nobody wants to be with anybody that just always is about drama. And I've seen the case like personal up front, which is some of the reasons, some things, situation what I have right now, just when the uh, neighborhood that I live in, and I've seen it up front, so I know I'm not being just hard on young women, because I've seen it, and then some of y'all do not know how to conduct yourself, and out in the public y'all act like you uncivilized human being, and I'm a person myself, and I am a woman, and I personally myself think to myself, I am glad I'm not the man in that relationship, because if I was, you would have to go. I would not put up with your mouth in the way you speak out in public, and it's nothing ladylike. None of the words coming out of your mouth is nothing ladylike, and you have a child standing right there looking at you, and then the words that come out of your mouth is so unladylike that is just off. It just is something that it is hard to hear and hard to see. So when y'all sitting up, and I'm about willing to bet that this particular person goes back with a girlfriend and probably this man out, and making her girlfriends think that, it's all about him, and there's something that he's just an awful person. But if they had a video and watch her behavior when he comes around to pick up his children, or pick up his son or his daughter, and the way she speaks, you can about understand why that relationship did not work in the first place. Because if I'm thinking it, I'm glad that I'm not a man that I had to run across that. Some of y'all are so disrespectful. Some of y'all do not need to be parents because you're not parents material. And I don't mean to be ugly with it, but I'm trying to come back with something different in reality. Stuff that I see going on around me like all the time. And that is just something that I see almost on a daily coming from young mothers' mouths and behavior that is just really so it's out of character for any woman to be that way. That is a true woman that has been raised by civilized people. And I'm not sure that these particular people have been. But I just want to get that out of my mind because I got a friend that is a grandmother just like me that has to put up with a young mother just like the one I'm talking about. And she has to be on her P's and Q's all the time in order to see her grandchildren. Because if this lady get upset, then that means that she doesn't get to have that visitation or get to see her grandchildren. So she had to be on her P's and Q's at all time. And that is not how the world is supposed to be when it comes to grandparents and even fathers of these kids, mothers of these kids. Even because I know there's some fathers out there that shouldn't be fathers, that are fathers that is abandon the children and just walk away, but and then just leave them for the mother to raise. I'm not saying that there's not none out there at all, because I know there is. I'm just saying from what I have seen in the last year or two is it's not the father, it's the mother. So what people start judging people about, like on social media or anything like that, when they hear, this mother on there talking about what a bad father she got for her child, we should be asking questions like, we should be asking the question, we heard your story. Now, is it a possibility for us to hear his story so we get both sides of the story? Because it's not always a clear black and white thing when it comes to relationship and babies' mamas and babies' daddies. Sometimes, just sometimes, it's more to do with the mother and her behavior and her attitude than it is to do with the father. Because nobody's going to live with somebody that it just you constantly have to hear bickering and swearing and things being thrown around, just tempers and all that. Nobody wants to continue to hear that all the time. So I wouldn't blame anybody if they want to walk away from that. I'm not saying just walk away from your child. I'm saying just figure out a way to be able to still see your child and you still don't have to deal with that kind of situation with somebody. Because everybody want to have a peace of mind, and that's not having it. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of my mind because I got just like I said, she's this lady that I know is a friend of mine, and she's going through similar situations. And I feel so sorry for her sometimes when she just wants to see her grandkids kids and she can't do it because the mother is the young mother is having a bad day with the father or something like that, and she just takes it out on the grandmother and everybody else because your grandmother just happen to be the mother or the father, so of the daddy, so she takes it out on her. So and it's just one big huge mess. But I just want to come here just clear that up. That it ain't always about a dad a deadbeat dad. Sometimes it's a deadbeat mother. And I want to leave it at that. And I hope y'all have a good day.